The glands, its structure and classifications. What is a gland? A gland is the organ that consists of some specialized secretory cells. And what actually is secreted by these cells? The cells of these glands can secrete some hormones, enzymes, or sometimes some mucus. And if we go to the developmental aspect of the glands, these are derived from the epithelial tissue. That means the glands are epithelial in origin. Now let us classify the glands. The glands can be classified based on different facts. So here in this particular picture we can see the glands can be classified based on the number of cells, how many cells are present in each gland. For an example, the first category is unicellular glands. Unicellular glands are made up of a single cell. So a single cell is secretory in function. So we have the goblet cells as example for the unicellular glands. So this is the picture to show you the goblet cells. In between these ciliated epithelial cells, we can see the goblet cells. And this single cell is secreting the mucus. And the best location of the goblet cells in our body is the terminal intestine or the large intestine, and also in the nasal cavity. The upper respiratory tract also is showing presence of these goblet cells. These are flask-shaped cells. Second category is multicellular glands. So the multicellular glands are made up of more than one cells or several cells are there. All other glands in our body is made up of multicellular glands, or our body is multicellular gland. Second classification is according to mode of secretion. The first category is endocrine glands. So here we can see endocrine glands. Second one, exocrine glands. And the third one, mixed glands. We know that the endocrine glands are ductless glands. They don't have ducts. And their secretions are directly poured into the blood, circulating blood. But if we consider the exocrine glands, these glands are showing presence of ducts. So ducts are tiny tubular passages to which the secretions are coming and through which the secretions are excreted out to the target tissue. And the third variety is mixed gland. A mixed gland is the gland which consists of both endocrine and exocrine tissue. So the secretions can be endocrine and also exocrine in variety. Again, the exocrine gland we can classify based on different facts. For example, according to the duct pattern, we can classify the exocrine glands into simple and compound glands. Again, according to the shape of the glandular tissue or the secretory portion, we can classify the exocrine glands to tubular glands, acinar or also called as alveolar glands. Third variety, tubulo-alveolar. Again, according to nature of secretion, what actually is secreted from the glands. So based on that, we can classify into mucus glands, serous gland and mixed glands. So the first variety is according to duct pattern. What is the nature of the duct? So here we will see the simple gland. Simple gland, and again we have the next variety, branched or compound. In fact, in the simple glands, the duct of the gland will be just a single tubular passage that is not showing any branches. Okay, if only a single unbranched pattern of the duct is there, means such glands you can call as simple gland. The best example we have in our stomach, the fundic glands of the stomach, and also the sweat glands of the skin. These are the example for simple gland. The next variety is compound gland. In the compound glands, so all these lower pictures are showing the compound glands. So here if you focus to the duct area, we can see tiny smaller ducts are joining to form the larger ducts. So here we can appreciate a branching pattern of the duct. So such glands we can call as compound glands because its duct system will be branching in appearance. And again, if you consider the secretory portion or the glandular tissue, we have compound, tubular, where the duct pattern is branching and also the secretory portion is tubular in appearance. Again, second variety is compound alveolar. There we can see the branching pattern of duct. Again, the secretory portion or the glandular tissue will be alveolar or flask shaped. Again, we have tubulo-alveolar, compound tubulo-alveolar. So that means here the duct pattern is the branching pattern. Additionally, the secretory or the glandular tissue, we can see both tubular and the alveolar in the same gland itself. Let us see what are the examples. The compound tubular ducts are duodenal glands. Compound alveolar ducts, mammary glands. And the compound tubulo-alveolar duct, the mixed salivary gland, that is our submandibular salivary glands. So these are the examples to remember for this category of duct. Next, according to shape of the gland or according to shape of the secretory portion, we know that a gland consists of an excretory portion, that is the duct, and the secretory portion, that is the glandular tissue. Now, if the secretory portion or the glandular tissue is tubular in appearance, we can consider this gland as tubular gland. Again, we have straight tubular gland. The example, the large intestine, the colon, the glands present in the colon. But we have coiled tubular glands. So coiled tubular glands, the example is the sweat glands present in our skin. Second, the secretory portion or the glandular tissue is alveolar shape or the flask shape. These glands are called as acinar or alveolar glands. The best example, the mucus glands of urethra. The third one I told you, these glands consist of both tubular and alveolar portion in the same gland itself. The example, again, submandibular salivary gland, that is a mixed salivary gland. Next categorization is according to the nature of the secretion. Okay, what type of secretions are coming out of the glands? The first variety is serous gland, second mucus gland, and the third one mixed gland. So generally, the serous gland that secretes serous fluid, the serous fluid will be very thin and watery in appearance. And again, we have the acinar system we can appreciate here, the glandular tissue. There we can see plenty of acini. So what is an acinus? An acinus consists of a group of cells which are facing towards a common lumen. So this is a group of cells these cells are facing to a common lumen. Further, this common lumen will be continuing as the duct, or that will continue as the duct. So all these secretory cells are secreting to this common lumen. Further, that secretion will pass through the ducts. Tiny ducts are joining to form the larger ducts. So this group of cells which are secretory in function, and also these are facing, its apex will be facing to a common lumen. So such structure you can call as an acinus, or the plural form is acini. Here in the serous acini, the cells are generally pyramidal in shape. And if you consider the nucleus, you can see the centrally placed rounded nucleus. Okay, so each pyramidal shaped secretory cells are showing presence of a centrally placed rounded nucleus. And the most important feature here, you can see in the apex portion of each and every cells, we can see the zymogen granules or the secretory granules. And here let us see the example for the serous gland, the parotid salivary gland. And also we can see the exocrine part of the pancreas is an example for serous gland, because the secretion will be serous in nature. Next one, the mucus gland. So mucus glands are made up of mucus acini, and these acini are secreting a fluid which is mucus in nature, or very thick and viscid secretion can be appreciated. And here also we can see the pyramidal or tall cells we can see, but the nucleus will be somewhat clear, and the cytoplasm will be very clear, and the nucleus will be placed at the base portion and the flattened nucleus. These nuclei are pushed towards the base because the entire cytoplasm will be filled with the mucus secretions. We cannot appreciate the zymogen granules here, and the lumen will be comparatively larger than that of the serous acini in the mucus gland. The example for the mucus gland is sublingual salivary glands. The third one, the mixed gland. So here in the same gland we can see both serous acini also we can appreciate, the mucus acini also we can appreciate. Okay, the best example again the submandibular salivary gland, that's a mixed salivary gland. But additionally here you can see a specified structure called as seromucous dermalion or serous dermalion. So this mucus acini is capped by another serous acini here. So this combined structure you can call as serous dermalion or sometimes called as seromucous dermalion. So this specified structure we can appreciate in the mixed salivary glands very well. So next classification of the gland is according to mode of secretion, how the secretions are coming out from the secretory portion or the glandular tissue. The first variety is holocrine glands. As the name itself suggests that the old cell will be disintegrated or destroyed so that the containing secretions are coming out. So this is very clearly seen here. The best example, sebaceous glands. And here we can see these cells are multiplying and these cells are disintegrating here and it will come to the duct region. Further this cytoplasm, so cell membrane will be destroyed and the entire cell will be disintegrated so that the containing secretions will be coming out through the duct pattern. Next is merocrine glands. So here no entire cells are destroyed, but the cytoplasm, the secretions of the cytoplasm will be coming out of the cytoplasm by a process called as exocytosis. So here the secretory vesicles can be seen in the cytoplasm and these vesicles are moving towards the cell membrane and there these vesicles are liberating its contents to the duct region. The third one, apocrine glands. So the apocrine glands, only the apex portion of the cells are disintegrated so that the contents will be coming out. The entire cells may not be destroyed. Okay. So the example for merocrine gland is serous salivary gland. Example for the apocrine gland is the mammary gland. Only the apex portion will be destroyed so that the containing portion will liberate its secretion. The mammary gland is the example. Next, the endocrine glands. Few details about the endocrine gland. Already we have discussed that the endocrine glands are ductless glands, but their secretion will be directly poured into the blood because mostly this endocrine tissue will be surrounded by a very good network of the capillaries. Blood vessels are surrounded so that the hormones or whatever things are secreted from the endocrine glands that will be directly liberating into the blood circulation. And further through the circulating blood, it will reach to the target tissue where you can see its receptors are present. Example, we have the thyroid gland. Thank you for watching. That's all about the structure and classification of the glands in our body.